Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, and drop a like on the video. And of course, subscribe to all our socials. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mark. How are you, Mark?
How's it going, lads? Good to be back again.
Down in the left corner there, you'll see the Legend 11, the gaffer himself, Tony Brown. How are we, Tony?
All right, lads. What's the story? Everyone all right?
Good, yeah, all good. And joining us tonight to bring us up to speed on another fantastic day coming up, Keith McConnell from Airfield. How are you, Keith?
How's the farm? As well. Thanks for having us, lads.
Good, not a bother as all. As always, folks, Legends 11's links and Airfield's links are down there in the description as well. Make sure you give them a follow and go check it out. So we're going to start with that. So, Keith, big night coming up, or big day coming up, I should say, day and a night, look by the looks of things. 21st of June, Blunden Drive, Airfield United Festival of Football versus a Premier League Legends. Give us the rundown on it. Tickets, ticket prices, where you can get tickets, all the info that you have at the moment.
Yeah, so basically, so we're running this event with all the ex-Premiership players coming over. It's kind of been a year in the making between myself and Browner and the rest of the Airfield United committee. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise much needed funds for a new clubhouse. So we have a eye on a building which is right next to us on London Drive we actually have a meeting tomorrow with Dublin City Council, believe it or not. So we're really trying hard to get into that building to take it over to become the next tenants. But we also want to put a U club into it. Because our area, we're based in Coolock, just off the Malahide Road there, the Darndale roundabout. And, you know, there's kind of been a bit of a neglect in terms of facilities in the area. So we're working really hard to get this building, and everything, all the profit that's made off this will be going towards retrofitting that building. And if we're not successful with getting the building, our plan B is to build something, you know. So at the minute we're working out of 2 40-foot cabins. We've no access to electricity, to water, to waste services. We've over 350 playing members between our academy, which is run every Friday night. That's for 5-year-olds. And then, you know, we've got 2 senior teams as well. So not counting coaches or parents or supporters, not like that. We've 350 active members in the club. And at the minute, we've a borrowed room with 1 toilet from the local community centre, which we only got put in last year. We're going since 1977, so touching on nearly 50 years now, like, you know. So, and we haven't got the facility. So that's our aim. That's our target, is to get this building and to raise the monies to retrofit it. It's a former credit union building. It's kind of been lying idle for the last 3 or 4 years. It was wrapped up in a bit of legal red tape. But we're finally getting a bit of movement on it. I'm very hopeful that we're going to be successful with it. So this fundraiser, the game, is all about creating those funds. So basically, there's 3 different sections to the day. So we have a meet and greet at 12 o'clock. That's in Airfield Community Centre, which is right beside that pitch. Then at 1 o'clock we have all our younger age teams. We've also invited local football clubs like St Malachy's, Edenmore, Kilmore, Celtic, Trinity, Donamead. We've invited them along too to get them involved, all the kids teams and all, to kind of soak up the atmosphere. 3 o'clock then the main event with all the players. I'm sure you can see in the graphic there. David James, Stephen Carr, Ian Hart, Wes Brown, Yap Stam, Carl Poborski, Stillian Petrov, Keith Gillespie, and we just announced Jermaine Beckford today as well. So still another couple to announce that we're kind of keeping under our hat. Be putting Tony under a bit of pressure now in the next couple of weeks.
No better vocal. I keep the video announcement for Beckford was brilliant. If any of you are out there going to Airfield Social, brilliant video after putting out there.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, Brown only sent me that today. It was really nice to see. Nice backdrop to it, like, you know.
And it's great. Stephen Carr is from the area, isn't he?
He's from the area. Yeah, he's only from down the road. He grew up even when we were kids. When we were training, we'd often see him during pre-season. You know, and he'd be running around the local park, keeping fit over the years. You know, so
super player.
Quality. But yeah, delighted to have him on board. He's a bit of a local hero, you know. So he's coming back. He lives in Spain, so he's coming all the way back for that weekend, you know. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, brilliant. In the chat here, Dano says he knows you had many battles against Keith with Sheriff. Dane Fitzpatrick, do you know Dano?
I'm sure I do, yeah.
And he says, Keito, will Bappers be lining up in said game?
He is, yeah, he will be. He's in the first 11. That's if his tips can last.
Yeah, Dane does the Liverpool podcast with me on the channel. Dane does.
Very good.
Small world. So then on Eventbrite there, Keith, we have a breakdown on the tickets. So the meet and greet, 10 for under 16s, 20 for adults, same for the match. And then you have a gala dinner that night, which is always brilliant. I tell you, if you haven't attended a gala dinner with Jason McAteer, lads, you are missing out. The lad is unbelievable. He's quality. So you have a gala dinner at 75, or you can do the whole day for 100, which is an absolute steal. Yeah. I've said it to Browner before. There's lads doing meet and greets at the moment, and you can't even get into them for 100 quid. You're alone a gala dinner, a day out, and a meet and greet. And all. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tony, come in here. Talk to me about it. Give me a bit of info on it.
On Airfield.
Yeah, and on the lads that are coming over and all.
Well, I tell you what surprised me. We done a launch a couple of weeks ago with Mark's Trophies. Keith had invited me out to the Hilton Hotel there, and I was actually taken aback by the amount of people that turned up to launch the event. And I met a cousin of mine out there as well, and you know, she was saying it's going to be a great day and all that. And Keith gave a very how would you put it, a speech. Right, you could hear a pin drop in the room, what it meant to have this in the local community. It's wrong, a club of this stature and size, 50 years, and he actually called out the facilities that night, and it was shocking. Like, they have a massive active members in the club, 350, I think he said there. I mean, and after this event, I guarantee it will get bigger, because people will buy in to what they're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? And I know we had the Leeds event last week, and I've said it last week, that's probably the best event we've done in 16 years. And I've said this to Keith already, and I'll tell you, I think this one is going to be massive. I really do. It has a big community vibe to it. It's going to be full. I think it's going to be sold out. I really do. And Keith, were saying you got a stand, a mobile stand. Was it Mattress Mick, Keith?
Yeah, Mattress Mick is helping us out. Yeah, there's so Mattress Mick stands, but there's a company called Activo. They very kindly sponsored. They're bringing the 2 grandstands in, so they're on the back of trailers. So there's 370 seats altogether. Now we're hoping to have well over 1,500 people there, you know. So it just adds to the atmosphere as well, you know. The fact that we're turning our local pitch into a stadium, if you like, you know.
Will Mattress Mick be there on the day to open the stands up for you?
Yeah? He will indeed, yeah.
But in fairness, lads, you look at that lineup there, right? That's some lineup. Imagine down the road, you're sitting in your local going, Jesus, we had Yap Sam on our pitch, or we had Ian Hart on our pitch. So for that day, Airfield is going to be king of the jungle, what the players are going to have on view. And then they're going to have their own players, their families, you know, everyone's going to buy into it. Anytime we've done a game out that neck of the woods, we've done a few in Darndale, they've been ridiculous. The crowds that have turned up, just been. So I expect this to be just as big. And if you know Airfield's pitch, it's one way in, one way out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's going to be brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Great. I remember playing years ago for Wayside and then going out to my dad's matches for the IGB out there and stuff like that. It's such a shame that you don't have anywhere. You look at, I've had this conversation before, like I've refereed the DDSL and stuff. You look at, you know, you go down to Ben Madigan Road, you're getting changed at the side of the pitch. You go to any GA club around the country, they have a clubhouse, they have an Astro, they have all these facilities. The money just hasn't trickled down to grassroots football. It's such a shame that, you know, we're in the state that we are now in 2025, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Football's the most popular sport in the world. I know we've to compete with I know we've to compete with rugby, but there's no reason why in this day and age there shouldn't be, basic facilities. And there's a big push for, to get girls teams going, get girls involved in football. I'm all for it, and we're really trying our best, but it's very difficult to, if you don't have toilet or sanitary facilities to offer these girls there's a big push on to get girls involved, but yet the facilities aren't there, that kind of way. So
Yeah.
it's a major improvement in terms of, first of all, the governments, and the FAI as well. They really do need to get their act together, because we're not the only ones. Kilmore Celtic down the road from us in the exact same boat with 40-foot container. That no access to electricity, and they're there since the late 80s, early 90s, not long after us. You know what I mean? So, and they're catering for a lot of younger kids in a very deprived area in terms of infrastructure and investment into youths. So we're not the only one. It's up and down the country, and especially all over Dublin. There needs to be a better job done in getting just the basic facilities. And we're not asking for a lot. All we're asking for is, just basic sanitary facilities, a roof overhead, somewhere we can have a meeting. We're very lucky at the minute. We have the Hilton Hotel, their main sponsor of ours, and they allow us to use their meeting rooms and all that kind of stuff. But we want somewhere we can call our own
Home, yeah. Somewhere to call
there,
home. Absolutely. So listen, folks, get over to Eventbrite there and make sure you're booking your tickets and stuff like that. It's going to be mental on the day. If any of these Legends games we've gone to are out in the go boy, and this is a spectacular lineup there, and it's a great mix as well, I have to say. So we'll be there on the day covering it for the podcast and taking loads of pictures and videos as always, no doubt. Myself and Marky with the trophies and stuff like that. It'll be a fantastic day out. The opportunity to meet this mix of players doesn't come up too often, so it's a fantastic job that between yourselves and Legends 11 have pulled together for this, and it's a fantastic cause as well. It's crazy to think in 2025, that kind of situation is there, and that you're out there and you're fundraising and all, and on the other end then you're being pressed to bring girls teams and women's teams on and stuff like that and all, and yet the facilities aren't there to support you in the right way, Yeah, so we'll keep on pushing it, Keith. We'll have it on all the podcasts coming up and all that, and it'll be flashed up there. All the links will be in there to Eventbrite and also to Facebook pages and whatever else is out there. And if you've anything else, just send it on to me, Tony, or Mark, and we'll keep on plugging it out there. Anything else you want us to plug on the day and stuff like that.
Fair play, lads.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, pleasure having you on. And listen, don't be a stranger. Anytime you want to come on, give us a shout, If you're a Liverpool man, Keith, you're always welcome, You're always welcome. How many Man United lads on this podcast? So brilliant. Thanks for that, Keith, and appreciate you coming on.
Hang on. Good luck, lads. Cheers, later. Cheers, bye-bye.
Yeah. Now, Tony, on to you. Coming up, is it this week? I think coming up, you're up in Belfast.
Up in Belfast.
And we have another spectacular announcement. As if that wasn't enough, that lineup.
Yeah, we have a certain Ryan Giggs, and we have Berbatov that's just been announced for that game on Saturday. That was a couple of weeks in the making, and phone calls are back and forth and all the usual. But it's going to be exciting. The lads up in Belfast, Mickey Meehan. Mickey's a great lad. He's doing great work up there for Mental Health Charity, and that's going to be some event. And similar to the Airfield lineup, but now they have Giggs as well and Berbatov. Who would have thought we would have got Ryan Giggs and Berbatov up to Belfast to play in the charity match, which is just unbelievable, But looking forward to it, and I think that's going to just elevate that event even more up there. Ever since the boys launched it there, the two lads the other day, it's just gone mental. Just gone absolutely daft up there. So I'm up there Saturday. I'll collect a few lads Saturday morning, and then we're going up to Belfast. That is, I think it's 11 o'clock meet and greet. They're doing it slightly different than the normal format, and then they have a match at 1 o'clock, and then they have a dinner then that night. But it's going to be Could be something else. Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, Ryan Giggs, unreal, isn't it? That's in the Seaview Stadium, isn't it? Crusader Stadium and stuff. 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. That's going to be unbelievable, Browner.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad when you talk of Giggs, isn't it? Because you still think of Giggs has nearly been an active player, like because he played for so long, and he's probably still has it in him and all and stuff like that.
Still lean, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I would imagine so.
A certain Legends 11 physio has been slagging me all week because I'm not going to be up there. So I've just been getting it in the neck off him all week. I have.
He's injured, Browner. He's injured. He's still complaining about the knee and the ankle. You know what I mean?
No, I have a communion. My godson's communion on Saturday, so I'll be up to my eyes and doing all that.
He says he's a nickname for you, Dyson, because he said Mark's always hoovering. So. That's
what he's calling Dyson, yeah. I can't get a break with him.
I told him on the day, I said, you should have told him you were going and just said nothing. And then let Tom drop it that you're not going. You dropped it too early, I said.
Oh, stop.
Steve was down on Friday. We done a gig in Wexford on Friday with Brian McClare and Wes Brown. And Stephen come down and so he's part of the team now, as you know. But he's some crack though. When the Hogan lad, he gave you some chip, mate.
He's been texting me and ringing me all week. I was like, Steve, there's nothing I could do about it. But yeah, no, I'm raging, I miss him. But yeah, I told him to send me loads of pictures and videos and stuff like that. It's going to be someday.
Good, be good crack, you know.
Yeah. Dino's in saying that the game is the day of his girlfriend's birthday. So he said he'll have to have a round to get thrown out of the gaff to go to the game. The Bobbers fella is like wine, a cheap bottle all day. Be good to see some old faces. Absolutely. Bring the young lad down as well, Dino.
That Airfield game's going to be massive, like Brown said, with all the community around and stuff like that. It's a big hub, like, you know.
Yeah, and especially, you know, when you have a good cause like that where they need it, community really comes together with football, doesn't it? So it should be an absolute belter. Go ahead, Tommy, sorry.
Fellas, right. PJ Gallagher turned up. And he was there part of the launch, and he was flabbergasted. He couldn't believe the facilities that the club have, the lack of facilities the club. Yeah. What's going on? 50 years ago. And Keith gave a very passionate speech that night, and it was unbelievable. And the whole room was wedged with people. And I said it to him, I said, you wait and you see your venue the day of this game. I'm going to get people outside of your club coming to this event to support. Like, because when we done a game in Darndale, 4,000 people turned up. We done a Celtic match there, 4,000 people turned up. We done a Soap Stars. We got all the lads from EastEnders and all that.
I remember you a picture with Chesney.
You know what I mean? And they were still calling them as their characters on the TV show. You know? And that was so cracking. Then we went into town that night, and part of the gig was we had to play bingo for half an hour in the pub in town. You couldn't make it up.
The things you have to do.
Look, the picture Browner up there calling the numbers, eh? Calling the numbers.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah, no, that's
lilies for the crack.
Yeah. That's the main thing. The main thing is that it's a bit of crack and there's fun on the day as well, but also that conscious, obviously, of what the cause is and stuff like that, which is so important as well. And I'm sure Keith will send us on more information. I'm sure in the day, Tony, there'll be raffles and all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, in fairness to him, he's doing the very same that we do in all the other games. I just kind of said, look, that's the blueprint we use. It's successful, so go with that. And in fairness to him, he is. Like every day he'd be on the phone. Who's the last player? Who else is coming? We got Beckford today. I kind of knew we had Beckford, and I spoke to Darren a couple of weeks ago, but we just wanted to get the Leeds game out of the way first. And then the Belfast game, there was so much going on. And then Keith's game then is next. So there you go. That'll be brilliant. And to get the weather, you seen yourself, lads, out in Bray when we got the weather. Jesus.
Unreal.
Yeah. You would hope the 21st of June, you would hope that, like, you know, that's when you get the weather and stuff like that. You know, it's hard to predict it and stuff like that, but so long as you have a nice day anyway.
And to have the stands there, the temporary stands, that's going to be some touch on the day as well, like, you know.
He said, and I said, Keith, are you sure it's going to cost you money? Have a sponsor. Because I kept saying to him, sponsors are paramount and network and all that. And in fairness to him, we went off and he got it. They're hard working. They're very working club. I know clubs are all hard working, but these guys really impressed me. I met these a year ago. Just on it. Straight away. Bang. Everyone had their job and they just all pulled together. And then when you go out there and you see what they're trying to do for the kids, and for the
Yeah.
area. Phenomenal.
And football and that kind of stuff, so important to those communities. So important to those communities. So it's nearly for those boys, it's practically a vocation, to be honest, you know.
But like you said, the fans will turn up on the day not knowing the work that Keith's put in the last year to make that day happen, alongside yourself and Colin and stuff like that. You know, it's some work, but it's great to see it on the day when you can just relax, see the crowd there, happy watching the lads, you know, getting the pictures taken with them and stuff like that, you know.
Well, that's the thing for the club. Like you turn around and go, geez, we'd have Sam in that picture. You know, we'd these guys have won stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Be well respected. And go out on Airfield's pitch. I mean, it's just amazing. I said, lads, enjoy every minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There'll be lads trying to make names for themselves going up against you as well.
You know, Jesus.
There's always a few silly people on the day, all right, yeah.
Yeah. We've Mark, haven't we, in a few games?
Oh, big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's great though. It's great to see the competitiveness, like and Yap getting his little revenge on them. Then, you know.
Yeah, him and Brian's the same. Mini Brian McClare. Yeah, he getting one up on Brian on the pitch either. Like,
yeah, there's a bit of difference in the mall. I'd say
Was Brian in good form on Friday, Browner? Yeah.
You know, the two of them together, they're like the two lads out of the mud.
There, actually. That's
Waldorf. They're brilliant. They're brilliant. They're absolutely box office. And Brian has a real dry sense of humour. And and they were good, very honest. And Ferguson and the present manager and the players, and it was good. I have to say, probably a bit more open than usual, but it was very good.
Early, brilliant,
excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's brilliant. Well, Tony, thanks for joining us. But before you jump off now, don't be going anywhere. We need a prediction for Wednesday. This is a big game on Wednesday.
I think United will win at 1-0. And the history's in the DNA, I think, with these lads. I think Spurs, I hope I'm wrong, I just think they might struggle on the night. You know what I mean? But I just think United, it's in the DNA. They always, no matter how bad they're doing, they always seem to get a cup, don't they? Like I remember United in the 80s, 83, 85, 90, and they were shocking in the league. But they just seem to win FA Cups. They seem to do well. Oh, and what was it? It wasn't the Coca-Cola Cup, was it?
The Coca-Cola Cup, yeah. Back.
Yeah, wasn't it? So, look, then again, you just don't know. I mean, the two of them are playing so bad. Look where they are in the league. You look, United can't defend. Look at the Leon game. Like, I went to bed sulking at 4-2, and then the missus says you have a penalty, and then it's 5-4. It's like something you see on the road when you're a kid, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
What I mean? That's kind of ridiculous.
What do you think yourselves, lads?
I'm going 2-1 United, and just I can see us conceding because we have been all season, but I just think we have enough there with Spurs' injuries, and we have a little bit more strength and depth that I think we'll just get over the line 2-1.
I'm only worried about this whole bird situation. I don't know if you've seen it. So we've had the Liverbird win, we've had the Eagles win, and we've had the Magpies win so far this season. So I wonder what Spurs is the writing on the wall. I'm not too sure. I don't know. It's been a season of upsets, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has, but it's a flip. Like, it could be a flip of coin, but I just think we'll nick it. My head and my heart this time thinks it, so we'll see what happens.
You'd love it to be a real open 4-3 or 5-4 or something. An absolute belter. You know that one we had against Alaves?
Yeah.
It was insane. Like, you want something like that. Something like that would be cool.
Well, looking forward to it either way. Browner, are you going to be watching at home, or are you heading out for it?
No, I'll be watching at home.
Yeah, same as myself.
At home.
Too nervous to venture out, both of you, I'd say.
Say that again?
Too nervous to venture out. Imagine dropping an L to Spurs.
There's stuff on in the Cult of Cantona are doing a gig in town in the Grand Social. And you're kind of going to go in, and it's into town from Drogheda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless I stay me Maz. If I stay me Maz, I'll prawn half a stone. She'll just feed me for
Happy days.
Yeah.
There's a nice hotel up the road from the Grand Social there, as you well know, Browner.
Or the motel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motel 1, I'm telling you.
I've said there loads of times, and we've had the lads in there. Brian Erb is the manager. He looks after the legends. I tell you, in there, and Joanna, they're brilliant to us. I think we've a lot of players staying there, and it's right on the Lewis line there. The Hayden front, Temple Bar.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it. I'm telling you, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at Dana with this. Last time Leeds won the league, Liverpool won. Sorry, last time Leeds won. It must be the championship, I'd imagine. Liverpool won the league, and United lost the Europa final on pens. So Spurs on pens for me. There we go.
Be interesting either way.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear actually when we played them in the Champions League final. My biggest fear was if I lost the Champions League final to Spurs, I don't think I'd ever be able to live it down. I couldn't defend it, like, you know what I mean? That was my biggest fear. But there you go. Well, listen, Tony, pleasure having you on as always. Cheers.
Thanks, fellas.
Cheers, Brown. I'll see you later, man.
Bye-bye.
Right, let's bring people up to date at the moment. Sheldon Drogheda still 0-0. Brighton have just equalised against Liverpool in the 70th minute. And on 68 minutes, Shamrock Rovers cruising 3-0 at the moment against St. Pat's. Going to be tough to stop Shamrock Rovers this season, isn't it? They seem to have found their rhythm now.
100%. Usually it's a little bit later in the season, but they're after, 4-0 now.
Yeah. Oh, 4-0 now, is it?
4-0 now, yeah.
God. Good luck with that.
Right.
Didn't want to do this too early, but this is our new slide. I thought I'd put you out there. So if anyone wants to book Jermaine Beckford, they just need to get in touch with Mark.
That's
his new best buddy.
If you need Mel Sterling to go on a stag with you as well, we can organise
Bring your wallet.
Because there's no better buckle, I tell you. Yeah, no, we did a busy weekend, obviously, in Wexford on Friday night with Wes and Brian, as you can see in the top right-hand side of the screen there. And yesterday, they were in Navan for the Navan Reds. The Liverpool Supporters Club were having their end-of-season party in the Central Bar in Navan there. So Eddie Stairs was organising that. So they were there. I think I sent you on a few pictures. It looked class. He had jerseys and medals.
Now we mean the trophies were there, not Wes Brown and Brian McClare.
No. The trophies are there. The trophies are there with the lads, and I sent you pictures that look class. That they had the way they had the trophy set up with the mannequins with the jerseys and the medals and all that. Great setup they had up there. So fair play to Eddie Stairs and the rest of the lads in the Navan Red Supporters Club up there. So I've worked alongside them for a good few events over the years, and they're A1, like, you know. So they had a good day. Few sore heads this morning, I believe, but sure, well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant stuff as always. So don't forget, folks, Hogan Elite Trophy or Facebook, Instagram, drop a follow or get in touch with Mark. A lot of stuff booked out at the moment, obviously, with communions, confirmations, and everything else going on. Lots of Legends games and stuff. And also, if you have something coming up, don't leave it too late. Book in advance. It's not a problem at all. Let them know you're a subscriber on the podcast as well, Marky. Look after you.
Definitely.
Right. Let's take a look back at the Premier League.
Yes.
Chelsea, big win over United on Friday night to keep our last day of the season really, really exciting for this top 5 race, which is what we kind of wanted, isn't it? Because we always like that bit of jeopardy in the last day, don't we?
Something to look forward to, and a bit of interest in it as well. But I was surprised with the team that Amran chose. I thought he would have went for made a few changes, obviously with the cup final. So it was a stronger team than I thought. Started off decent enough. To be honest with you, it wasn't the greatest of games, was it? Like, you know, we had the early goal by Maguire that was ruled offside and stuff. But you know, apart from that, it was hard to call, and you know, both teams were kind of like weren't that their greatest.
Well, I suppose for you guys were playing with obviously one eye on Wednesday. There was a penalty review at Mount penalty overturned there at the Liverpool game, by the way. But there was jeopardy in this. For Chelsea, they were quite nervous about this. They knew they had to get a win. They had to get a win to keep it in their own hands and stuff like that. And also, it was important for them. For you guys, it was kind of, you know, coast through it. What do you make of him picking the stronger team? Is he trying to send a message there, or is there something subliminal to it, or is this just his way?
I thought the likes of Obi Martin might have started and a few of the younger lads and stuff like that, just to give the lads an extra few days rest and stuff. And you know, when I seen the team, I was coming home from work and I was kind of like looking at it going, all right, okay, so might get something out of it, you know, give Chelsea a game, but wasn't a great, like all this season wasn't a great performance. So I think from a neutral point of view, one of the lads was texting me and saying this match is brutal on a Friday night. You know, you'd want to be watching Paint Troy, but yeah, it wasn't great. Listen, it's another defeat.
This made West Ham look like a game.
Yeah.
No, but
listen, it was one of those games we have a eye on Wednesday. It was never going to be one that was going to be an exciting game or you know, one for us to get up for. But yeah, no, Wednesday's our whole season in one game, you know.
Yeah, we kind of figured on the Thursday show with Darren as well that'd be, you know, Villa 2, Spurs 0 as well. That'd be the same kind of conundrum, really, you know.
Yeah, obviously they made a few changes. Villa played very well, though. You know, you look at Villa's home record, they've only been beaten once at home this season. That was their very first home game against Arsenal. You know, to go the whole season for the rest of the season unbeaten at home has been brilliant. Kamara Top played very, very well. He's been underrated. It was a great goal by his, you know, great finish into the bottom left-hand corner. You know, we always talk about the likes of Rodgers and had just a good chance. Rodgers and Watkins and stuff like that. I think he's gone under the radar. He's very underrated. So it's delighted when I seen him score, like, you know, such a goal and have a good game. But yeah, it could have been a lot more. You know, the Spurs keeper pulled off a few good saves and stuff like that. But yeah, you just felt Villa were always going to get over the line with a win, you know.
Yeah, I would have thought so. And then we went into Sunday because we know game Saturday bar the cup final.
Yeah.
And we are going to touch on the cup final, I think, before we get into Sunday's games. We're not going to overlook it. This was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? I tweeted out on the channel, football sometimes wins.
Yeah.
And that's how I described it. And to see the Crystal Palace fans there, I was actually in tears watching the Crystal Palace fans in tears.
Yeah.
Because it was just phenomenal to see so many videos out there of really older granddads and stuff like that who've obviously followed Palace all their life, have never you never won anything at this level kind of thing, you know. And you're there looking, and they're there like with their daughters and their grandkids, and they're all in tears celebrating and sharing the moment and all. And you know, I just put out there on Twitter, I said, cherish every moment of it, folks. This is absolutely phenomenal. And you could see what it meant to them. You see SA at the end dropping to his knees, and even you see him when he got the medal and he was on the pitch and he was staring at the medal. Did you see that image?
Yeah.
And he actually couldn't believe it. It was like a kid in a wonder factory or something. It was incredible, like, you know.
And then to hear obviously Dean Henderson's dad's our neighbour brought the radio to the dad's grave, like to listen to the match and all, like. And then I've been looking at social media, you know, people putting up, you know, about their dads and that, bring them to the first game and not being able to be there and because they passed away and stuff like that, you know. And then the two boys that were there, that dad had passed away of cancer, and they unveiled the big flag at the start, like, you know, it was very emotional. But delighted for them. I don't think there's a fan outside the Man City fan base that could have denied them that win. And listen, they had the Henderson handball that could have changed the game and stuff like that. I think obviously if he gets sent off, it's a completely different game. City will probably dominate and go.
What was your call on it?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a red card. To be honest with you, you know. Yeah, I thought it was a red. I thought it was a. Do you know what? I was very, very shocked that VAR didn't intervene, and you know, I think it was Gillett was in the VAR and whoever else, but I thought it was a red card all day long, man. To be honest with you, I thought Henderson was a very lucky man to stay on the pitch.
It would have really spoiled the day, wouldn't it? Regardless of the result, it would have destroyed the final. Really.
It would have, yeah. It would have been so one-sided after that, you know. But listen, it just proved, you know, he stays on the pitch, you know, he saves a penalty. He couldn't write the script any better. He pulled off a few good saves after that, frustrated, and then he has a little argy-bargy with Pep afterwards and stuff like that, which is good to see as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we know Henderson, he loves that kind of shithousery as well. And I think there's always a little bit of that in most goalkeepers, because most goalkeepers are a little bit out there as well. And that's kind of cool as well. You need that kind of thing as well. And even the same, when he put the hat on for the second half, it was real 1980s or 70s, wasn't it?
School,
the hat even looked like something that you got off a market stall. It wasn't even a decent baseball cap. It was cool. It was good to see it, but he was phenomenal on the day as well.
Oh, he's brilliant. He was.
Hats off to the Palace.
I like that. Hats off after being.
Yeah, there you go. It was cool.
I like the way he did it.
Yeah. No, it was very, very, very good. Now I have to say, really, really enjoyed it. You know, and not because of City or anything like that. You know, it's just I think sometimes when you get these fairy tales, it's nice that sometimes it comes off. You know. I see Pep as well, back-to-back final losses.
Yeah. Obviously ourselves last season and Palace this season, but it's always nice. It's always nice to see a new name on the trophy and stuff. And you know the fans, the Palace fans are a great bunch of fans and stuff like that. They've a great fan base there. You know, Selhurst Park's a fantastic stadium. It's an old school stadium close to the pitch, and seeing the scenes after, even as a Manchester United fan, it gave me goosebumps. It really did. We were sitting here watching on Saturday evening. It was great, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet you're sitting there and you're willing it, aren't you? You're willing the minutes down and stuff like that, you know, like it's,
you know yourself, when City were pushing on, what was a 7 added on or 10 or whatever it was, and you just felt you're like, City are going to equalise here and go on and win it, like it's go on and win it in extra time, whatever. But you know, and then like Palace has a few chances there as well themselves. So
I think if City had have equalised, I think Palace would have been on the canvas. It would have been very difficult to pick themselves up.
Definitely.
But fair play to them anyway, and they got it done, and it's great. Right, let's move into Sunday. Everton 2, Southampton 0. Another memorable, historic moment. The last game at Goodison. Very emotional. Peter Reid and all the ex-players and all out on the pitch and all. It was great to see it as well. Some of those old players. Your own one, Brian Kidd as well.
Brian, I've seen him there. Well.
So it's very, very cool.
Do you know what? We went over to my dad's yesterday. My mum was away with me in Liverpool at my sister's hen party the weekend. So myself, Yvonne, the girls went over to my dad and we were watching it together, and it was great. And we were just, as the players were coming out at the end, we were like, oh, there's such and such. There's Brian
Joe
Kidd.
Royal.
Yeah,
Joe
there's
Royal.
Neville Southall. There's Joe Royal. There. But it was great to see, and obviously the likes of Wayne Rooney there, Big Dunk. Was...
We really truly forget how big a club Everton were at one stage. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's
like you look at, obviously they won the league. Was it 1985? They won the championship. They bet us in the FA Cup in 95 as well. Like myself, I think I've said on this program here before. Myself and my dad had been to Goodison a good few times because his friend Dennis' son John Lester, a friend of ours, played for Everton under 21s before. He was the captain of the team, and we'd go over and watch him, and then we'd go to Goodison in the afternoon. John sorted us out with tickets, and just a brilliant stadium, old school stadium, the wooden seats, and you know there could be a pillar in the way, or it's something like that. But it's great. It's so close to the houses and stuff. And again, it was one of those. I was sitting there yesterday and getting goosebumps and kind of getting a bit, you know, like Jesus, like I seen some lad brought his dad's ashes to the ground and spread them on the pitch after and stuff. Like it's just these things, like they hit home, and it's a different. It gives you get very emotional, you know, as a football fan, and just as a person in general. But it was great to see, and obviously they started off brightly in the game. It could have been a lot more. Other Ramsdale pulled off a few saves, but 2-0, you take that, and it was excellent to see the scenes and your one playing the violin at the end and your man and the guitar and stuff. It was brilliant, great. And it was, I have to say, fair play to the Southampton fans. A few of them stayed behind and soaked in the atmosphere and were applauding and stuff like that. So fair play to them. And then we helped them out with a few flares out, so we returned the favour from what they gave us. As you do. But listen, I often say, banter, like, you know what I mean?
I often say it takes two clubs to make a city, doesn't it? And it's really cool.
Listen, and the Scouts have such a wicked sense of humour as well, don't they? Like, so it was 100%. Funny to see, like, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. It was mad, and I tell you, it's gonna feel weird not having a trip to Goodison Park. It's gonna feel really, really weird, I have to say. That'll take time to settle in. When you were looking at it on Sunday, did you spare the thought for down the road potentially if it happens with Old Trafford?
Yeah, do you know what, Nicole, my 15-year-old said that, because obviously I was saying, geez, an emotional day, and she goes, that could be you in a few years with Old Trafford, and I was like, So, and I was saying that, I said to them, I was like, one thing I want to do is get you all over there for a match. Obviously we were there last year with the girls, just kind of around the stadium and stuff like that, but I want to get them over for a match to soak in the atmosphere and stuff like that, and see Old Trafford for what it is, you know.
Absolutely. So Forest getting over the line as well, 2-1 against West Ham, which what seemed to be a never-ending match. I think the match rolled all the way into the Arsenal game nearly. Literally the end of that game, and the Arsenal players were walking out.
Listen, I had a cup of tea for that second goal, the VAR check. I had a cup of tea, drove back home to Lucan from Dundrum, had me
7
dinner.
minutes.
Yeah, had me dinner, and the goal was given. It was madness. But can I
Yeah.
just say one thing? One player, like we talk about Woods, we talk about Alanya, Gibbs, White. Sells for me has been Forest player of the season.
Some amount of
Unbelievable.
saves.
Oh my God. The
Yeah.
save from the Soucek header and some of the other saves. But he's been doing it. He's been so consistent all season, you know. He's been excellent. He's one of the main reasons they're up there. Yeah, we can talk about the lads outfield, but he's been brilliant. And another one I want to tip my hat to is Jared Bowen's goal. What a touch and what a finish. Like, he's excellent. Obviously, there's talk of him moving elsewhere during the summer and stuff, but it was a great game and you know, good to see Forest after getting the 3 points eventually in the end, you know.
Yeah, Danny Welbeck going off, Harry Howell coming on for Brighton. Yeah, and also I suppose with Sells as well, having a guy like Murillo and Milinkovic in front of you as well must be great. It must be very solid in that way. The two boys are outstanding as well. So yeah, but this is what we wanted. We wanted Chelsea winning, Villa winning, Nottingham Forest winning, and probably Newcastle losing now is kind of like created some sort of a dilemma there, you know. So let's see what happens there. But someone's going to be very upset on Sunday, that's for sure.
Definitely.
But it gives us something all about, really, isn't it?
Because the relegation's been wrapped up probably most of the season. It gives us something food for thought for going into the last game on Sunday, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we've really had no real relegation battle as such. Wolves tip around it quite a bit. And Palace at in the early stages, but nothing major. And then other than that, then, you know, there was no real title race. Once Liverpool got 10, 12 points in front, you know, there was no real there's a goal here under review at the moment in the Liverpool game. And I think, if I'm right, I think it's for Brighton.
Seeing William was in the chat earlier. I thought he might have been at the match tonight. Or he could be at the match and he was doing it.
Maybe he is, no. What's up, lads? Yeah, he was in there earlier, all right.
95th minute now in Tolkien, 6 minutes added on, so about a minute left.
Struggle for Shelbourne this season a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a few injuries. Obviously, Coyler getting sent off against Bowles on Friday didn't help, and obviously there was another sending off as well. Tulloch came on there. He hasn't really done too much. They've been knocking it around all right. Drogheda have been good this season as well. They've been very hard to break down at times, you know. Yeah.
As you would expect. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, looking at the game, the game against Rovers last week, kind of second half, kind of exposed them a little bit. But I mean, they'd had a phenomenal start. Yeah, but match ended 0-0.
To keep that level of consistency up, it's quite difficult. Particularly, like they fought relegation for most of the season last season, so they're at the dizzy heights near the top of the table. So it's going to be hard, but it's great to see them still up there. And like I said, this be another point for them now on the
Brighton have just gone 3-2 up. The goal stands. The goal scorer, Jack Hinchelwood.
Nice.
There you go. So it's 3-2 to Brighton at the moment. What are we in? 87 minutes. 87 minutes. Liverpool feeling the effects of being away in Dubai and Ibiza, whatever else. There you go. Brentford 2, Fulham 3.
Yeah, it was an end-to-end game. A few refereeing decisions. I thought there could have been a few sending offs for second cautions and stuff like that. But again, a lad that you know very well, Harry Wilson on that left foot with a unbelievable winner. You know, great finish. He's been a good player this season. Has a class left foot, probably one of the best left foots in the league. To be fair, you know, on his day. So yeah, I was surprised. Particularly when Brentford took the lead and stuff. Yeah, obviously, Fulham went 1-0 up. Good header by him, and I thought the keeper should have done better. Nathan Collins was kind of flat-footed from the cross. I thought he could have, made it a bit more difficult for El. But they got back into it then, and I think it was in Boom or didn't they miss a penalty as well? I didn't think it was a penalty in the first place, to be honest with you. Yeah. But slot out, yeah. But yeah, good win for Fulham as well, and it kind of probably uncharacteristic defeat for Brentford at home.
Leicester 2, Ipswich 0. Let's talk about the Jamie Vardy party. Yeah. 200 goals, 500 games, 13 years to the day that he had signed. Give me your thoughts. Talk to me about Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, like obviously, listen, it's a fairy tale story, and obviously you just had a feeling he was going to get that 200 goal. It was a good finish as well, little touch, and then keeper was flat footed and just into the corner. But yeah, do you know what? To see him come out at the start, the emotion, because you don't really see too much emotion. You see a lot of the shithousery and stuff like that, and the ice cold veins when he finishes. But and to see all the old former
The
teammates
previous
as
players
well,
were there.
yeah,
Yeah, it
it
was
was
really
brilliant touch.
cool.
And like
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me with Leicester, because I think they're a good club in that sense. Like, do you know what I mean? The families were there and the old players and all. But it's been a great story. Obviously, started off with Fleetwood and stuff, and you know, as a young lad, he was doing manual labour coming up through the leagues, and then he was given an opportunity, and he took it by the like. You look at, there's not many players, like there's been talk about people making a film of his life and stuff like that. Not many players, like there's a lot of players that make it come through the academies of like the likes of United and Liverpool, and some players who don't even make it to the top. Like you look at a lot of the players that United had at the academy, they would have dropped down and played in the Championship and League One and League Two and seen their careers out. You know, there's been plenty of that, but there's been very, very rare times where someone's come up from non-league to win a Premier League, to win an FA Cup, to win a Community Shield, to earn England caps, to be banging in goals in major tournaments for England. It's unheard of, and it's brilliant, you know. And I just think you remember the interview where he was saying about drinking the cans of Red Bull and all. He's just one of the lads, and it's fantastic to see. And obviously he held the celebrations when they won the league in his gaff and all, the Jamie Vardy party with the
and he's a total shithouse, which is great. We love it.
Listen, remember the goals he scored against Palace, and he's doing the wings of the eagle, and he's this, that, and the other.
The one against Tottenham when he's pointing to the Premier League badge.
Yeah. But listen, you need characters like that in the game, and it'd be interesting to see what his next move will be now. Obviously, he has said he wants to play in the Premier League, but I don't know if the pace is kind of caught up with him a little bit. You know,
he could do a job, as an impact player, kind of goal scorer.
Yeah,
maybe one of the teams coming up. Do you know where he might fit in real nice? Leeds
United, yeah.
Because they love that share house as well, like, you know what I mean? And I think he could fit in there. And I tell you one thing, the Ellen Road crew, they grow to love him pretty quick.
Yeah, sure. They've had Bamford coming off the bench, and he's been doing feck all for them, like, you know.
Yeah, and I think does he finish up this year?
Yeah, he's gone this year, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gone this year. So, Vardy coming in there, probably not much money to sign him on. He's probably going to get you, 8-10 goals?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Which would be invaluable for Leeds first year back up.
Exactly. To settle back in and try to stay up and stuff.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And then we rounded out Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. This was kind of a disappointing game, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it felt flat. I was watching the build-up and stuff, and I was expecting a bit more from Newcastle in particular. Arsenal, I had a feeling, would go out and do their job, get the 3 points, and qualify for the Champions League. But I was disappointed with Newcastle, if I'm being honest. I thought they would have offered a little bit more. But good win for Arsenal.
I think United could do with Vardy.
Manchester United.
There you go.
Baptiste. Yeah. No, listen, I think Vardy, someone like a Leeds, or there was obviously talk of Wrexham being interested in him, but obviously he said he wants to stay in the Premier League. That'd be something else. Imagine going to Wrexham playing against Leicester next season.
He might only have to wait one more season.
He could do the way they're going, in fairness to them.
Speaking of stories and movies, my God.
Oh, big time.
I'd love to see maybe an Amazon Prime documentary on Jamie Vardy. That'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be good. Because listen, another Vardy's obviously been in the spotlight over the last few years with a certain court case and stuff. So it'd be.
So they could do getting a few bob in.
Yeah, exactly. After paying some legal fees, So.
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me your prediction on this again for Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 United. Obviously, with certain injuries, Madison's injured and stuff like that, and I think Kulusevski's injured as well, isn't he? And yeah, listen, they're gonna.
You've good news on the injury front as well, isn't there? Talk that a lot of the players that were supposed to be missing may
come back and stuff.
available.
Yeah, and like to be honest with you, look at Spurs in the league. I've always said it all season. As bad as we are, I always look at Spurs. You know, the 21 defeats this season. You look at the likes of Birmingham City, who got relegated in 09-10 with 15 defeats and stuff. You know, and listen, we're the same. We've 18 defeats, so I can't. But it's just when you look at it, I think we will concede. Like I said, we haven't had a good run. I think it was it Morris said last week that we had 2022 in the comments there. So that's something to think about. But I just think we get over the line. I think we have more strength and depth in our squad than they will have on Wednesday night. And we've a bit more experience in terms of these European finals as well. So that's what I'm hanging my hat on. And I'm going to go 2-1 to us.
Are you nervous for it? Considering what's on the line here, there's a Champions League spot, there's the money that comes with that. Obviously, the attraction of attracting in maybe better quality players through this Amarin transition. I mean, how would you feel? Like, I mean, in terms of if you lost it and stuff like that, would you be worried about Amarin in terms of the rebuild? And
I won't be worried about him. I am nervous about it because you know, our whole season lies on this one game. If we win this, you know, finishing 17th or whatever, it won't really matter. Because we've won a trophy and we qualify for Europe. So.
And the Super Cup.
And the Super Cup, obviously. But obviously, if you lose, you finish 17th, no trophy, no Champions League. That's when it really hits home. And that will affect getting players in. Now, there's meant to be one deal done up already, but that's going to affect players coming in during the summer and stuff like that. So I am very nervous, but I just think we'll just about get over the line. In terms of Amarin, he said before that, you know, this is a long game. You know, to change the system around halfway during the season isn't what he wanted to do. This system is going to be in place. He'll have the summer to get the players in that he wants, albeit, you know, we have to get rid of some players as well. But I think when he does get the players in that he wants and plays that system, I think we will listen. We should be thereabouts, not potentially for the league, but you look to break into that kind of top 6 next season and go from there, you know, and build on that as well, and play in the Champions League and try to get as far as we can. And
be a massive uplift, wouldn't it? Be a massive uplift.
And it's what we need as well, cause. But like I said, it's not gonna. And he said it's not gonna happen overnight. There's no point after losing the final tomorrow night saying, "I'll get rid of Amarin," because you're just starting all over again. You know, and like I said, we've said it loads on this. He was thrown in the deep end in October. Didn't want to come over, so no, I give him his full pre-season, full summer transfer window, and see what he can do then. You know.
Yeah, as I said to you before, the risk is he goes out and he spends 250 million, and then what happens is what happened with Ten Hag. That, you know, you get to October, November, and then it's, oh my God, what have we done?
Exactly.
You know, kind of thing. So that's the risk, obviously, you know what I mean? And it's, you know, maybe they look at things and maybe they think this 3-4-3 maybe is not the suit for United or something like that. I don't know, you know. We don't want anyone to lose their job, but obviously, you know, that the league has been an absolute disaster.
Big time. Big time.
You know, and at some stage you have to be held accountable in terms of coaching and in terms of getting results. You know what I mean? That has to come into play at some stage as well.
Well, I have said before, like you look at certain games and you think, right, against this team, that system won't work. We'll change it around. You have to be adaptable somewhat as well. And like I said before, you can change our system to pick up wins and build confidence within the squad and then go back to it. But he hasn't been able to do that. That's the flip of it for me anyway, you know.
And the problem with the Premier League is you nearly have to be capable of doing that in game.
Yeah.
Not just from game to game, even within a game. You know what I mean? And that's the difficulty, obviously. But we'll see. I'll be here for the watch along anyway. So I said I'd do a watch along on it because it's coming to the end of the season and wanted to have a look. And this for me, I've described it. I said it to Darren on the shows and all. This is a crossroads for both clubs. This is do or die. This is Amazon Prime. This is all or nothing. You know what I mean? It really is the definition of it.
And if Dino is still in the chat, I want to see him on the end of season team of the year as well. I want him to be on that show.
He will be on. He'll jump on that. No problem at all. Yes, sir. I think he might be coming out to me this week, actually.
Nice.
I thought we were going to come out for the last day of the season, so we'll see if that's still in the works.
Happy days.
Have a bit of crack, you know. Just before we go into the League of Ireland, this lad gave a speech yesterday. It wasn't for red cards or injuries for sure. What do you make of it? Like I know Darren will turn around and he will say, look, he's done an awful lot at Arsenal and stuff like that. We all agree that and stuff like that and all. But it's like no one else has had red cards or no one else gets injuries or You know what I mean? It's just mad. Match
Listen,
ended 3-2. Brighton beat Liverpool 3-2.
When I heard him, he sounded like one of the fans on Arsenal Fan TV. You know, one of those rants that they do have, you know. Oh, look
Comes
how it
in.
is,
It's a
Graham.
50-50 game. Whoever the best on the day wins it. But both teams should go all out. But come on, the Spurs.
Graham, were you at the Pats match tonight against Rovers? You're from up that way, aren't you, in Tala, even though you're a Pats fan? Good man, Dino. Looking forward to it, pal.
Absolutely, 100%.
And hopefully you've started that fight with your missus to get to Airfield on June the 21st.
Yeah, that has to happen. That's going to be a big day. That's going to be a
Get you a
big
picture
day.
with David James along.
Yeah, 100%. Jason Mackett here.
Yeah.
Mack is where it's at.
I think it was one of the security guards in Jervis was like, is Stephen Cluxon going to be up there? Because remember what happened with McAteer and him a few years ago. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I told you I went to a Robbie Fowler night down here in Wicklow, and only for Jason McAteer it would have been boring as hell.
Yeah, no, Mack is
class. Absolutely class. Right, let's kick it off. Obviously, we've had results tonight. Obviously, by the way, Rovers won 4-0. By the way, popped up there as well. Bowes with a big win over Shells, 1-0.
Yeah, listen, I was expecting more from Shells. Obviously, sending off changed the game. And there was another sending off, obviously, later on in the game as well. You know, Shells have 9 men. It's a different game. I thought they played well in the second half to keep Bowes at 1-0. Particularly, like I said, going down to 9 men as well. Duffer was obviously behind the stand because he was obviously banned. Joey O'Brien was on the sideline, but disappointing. Obviously, beforehand, you'd want to win, but it was a disappointing result to get from us. But like I said, the 2 sends off didn't help the cause, and to be only 1-0 is probably the only kind of positive you can take from that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then draw the 1-1 with Derry.
Yeah, in fairness, Drogheda probably dominated 80% of this game and let Derry get back into it. And Derry made a few changes and started playing a bit of ball in the second half and stuff and got into it. So it was a good point for them on the road. And they've been picking up some decent points as of late, Derry have, you know. So I was impressed with their second half performance, particularly the last 10-15 minutes of the game to get back into it, you know.
Yeah, Dino, need to about organising the game for next year, Marco. Absolutely.
Dino. It's something that
if he's down on the day, we'll introduce him to everyone.
100%, Dino. It's something that I've spoken to Niall about in the background for a while that I've been thinking about doing myself as well. So something to think about, you know.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of crack, sort something for sure. Probably one of the more disappointing results of the weekend. Galway dropping the points to Sligo 1-0 at home, no less.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe a draw in this game, to be fair, or a Galway win, because Sligo have been so indifferent this season. You know, the performance have been a bit all over the place, and they're not great in the road. They're and Galway have been strong at home as well. So I was expecting a home win, and a few decisions didn't go for Galway, and I think it got them rolled up a little bit. And Sligo obviously scored and hold on to it. They kind of shut up shop the last 20 minutes, Sligo, as you would do, I suppose. But when you're rock bottom of the table, 3 points is a massive 3 points. So yeah, I was a bit surprised with the result, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that was one of the more shocking ones.
Yeah.
Pats 3-2 in the end against Cork.
Yeah, they just got over the line, and I said this about Cork before. You know, they might be second bottom, but they're always in games. You know, even games that they're beating in, they always put in a performance, and they always score, and they always, you know, and they've just been unlucky. They've been very unlucky with some of the results, and I felt
just
for
had
them.
a change of manager as well.
Yeah, obviously Clancy resigned before probably he was going to get pushed, and there was a few disagreements behind the scenes with owners and stuff like that. So it's going to take them a while to get back into it. But again, I think if they keep performing the way they have done, it's going to come to them. I really do believe that. It's just they've been unlucky with some of the games. They've played really well, but they've still seen the end of a defeat, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we run it out. Rovers 3-1, big win against Waterford. Away.
Yeah. Listen, Waterford started off well, obviously taking the lead in the first 10 minutes, but it was a few mistakes at the back, particularly from the Waterford keeper, that led to Rovers going 2-1 up, and I think that really knocked the stuffing out of Waterford, and they went on and got the third down, and yeah, that gives them a big confidence which would have gone into the game tonight against Pats, which we've seen, going on to win 4-0 and take, because we've seen it so much with Rovers over the last few seasons. They start off slow and then they progress the last few months of the season. Where now they're going to be very dangerous because they're top of the league and it's still early doors. Well, it's halfway there, whatever, but they're going to be very dangerous.
I've noticed. I don't know if you've noticed it in their play as well. There's a lot of prolonged pressure where they can keep you under the cosh for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and wear you down, really wear you down. And their movement is really good as well.
You look at, they've been starting obviously Neil up top, but they've the likes of Aaron Green that have been on the bench and Rory Gaffney and stuff like that. So they have experience there, and they're going to be very dangerous. How are you, Ryan?
There you go, Brian.
They're going to be very dangerous. Another defeat for your Irish team, Ryan, tonight. They won on Friday, but they won
on Friday and lost tonight.
Yeah, so
lost tonight in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, 4-0.
There you go, 4-0. Right, let's move into Division 1.
Yes.
Bray Wanderers bouncing back, win against Athlone Town 3-1.
Yeah. Obviously, Athlone, like I said, had new manager, interim manager there, but Bray were obviously too strong. That's why they're only 4 points behind Dundalk, who obviously still are unbeaten. They've been very strong this season. Bray always tough to play against. It's going to be an interesting season. Like I said, you see Dundalk on the whole season undefeated. It's going to be interesting. But from a Bray point of view, all they can do is keep going out there and winning games and putting pressure on Dundalk and put pressure on Cove to do well as well.
You need Bray and Cove to keep it honest, don't you? They need to keep on chipping away as much as they can. Dundalk as well in a couple of games have just got over the line as well at times,
Yeah, exactly. They scored last minute goals, and I think I'm nearly sure they were 2-0 up on Friday, and Cove got back into it in the second half, and Cove created a few chances after that. Obviously at home, the crowd getting behind them as well, but Dundalk seeing it out and fair play to them. They won.
And the game against Bray, the 10-man one last week.
Oh yeah, last minute, Bray scoring late on. You think they've done their job, they've gone, but Dundalk just pulled it out of the bag and got a point out of it,
Yeah, well, you think if Bray had won that, there'd be only a point in it.
Yeah, there is plenty.
So that's what we said. This will really be decided on the games against Cove, Bray, and Dundalk against each other. Yeah, everything else is quite detached. Maybe Treaty are still hanging around on 21, but it's 14 points to Dundalk. But I think it's really down to Bray and Cove to keep it honest, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So, but like I said, that's all they can do. But the likes of Bray and Cove can just keep picking up points and putting pressure on each other and on Dundalk as well. And you look at the likes of Treaty as well. If they keep still picking up a few points, good 4-0 win against UCD on Friday night, just to keep the pressure on the rest of the lads,
Yeah, what are they putting on this? Ryan wants to know, many games in the Irish season, lads?
So you play each other 3 times. So how many's in that one there? 10.
So it'll be 3 9s, 27, is it?
Yeah.
Be more than that, though. Play each other 4 times, no?
Is it not 3 times?
I don't know. If they play 4 times, it'll be 30. 4 times it'll be 36.
Go back to last season. 36.
Yeah. So they must play each other 4 times.
Yeah, twice at home, twice away. It was 3 beforehand. A few years ago, they introduced it to 4.
When they did the 3, is that when they split it then? And then the top 6 played each other? Yeah. Remember
exactly.
That. There we go. 3 times.
Yeah, hey, the Will I am is it? But you're not at the match tonight, Will, no? And yeah, the Kerry Wexford game, Kerry obviously took the lead after half an hour, and they created some amount of chances after that, and then Wexford scored with about 12-13 minutes to go, knocked the stuffing out of them, and Wexford could have went on and won it down, but yeah, 1-1 I think was probably a fair result on the balance of the game.
The big win for Treaty then against the students.
Yeah, UCD. I looked at. I know they had 1 or 2 injuries going into the game. They played 1 or 2 young lads as well, but they've been kind of slow going in the Premier. They're a bit inconsistent at times with the performances, and they could go out and easily beat a Wexford or a Treaty on a good day, and then they go and Yeah, no, I know we can't score. Then they go and get beaten 4-0 by Treaty in the next game against them. So it's difficult to say, but a great win by Treaty United, 4-0 at home. Massive, massive 3 points for them to keep that pressure on. Like I said, Cove and Bray as well, just above them,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but certainly shaping up to be a heck of a season for both Division 1 and the Premier Division. Some really good stuff there, and so many Dublin derbies as well, isn't there? It's like every week we get Dublin derbies, even again tonight and all, so it's mad, it's crazy, that's for sure. But yeah, looking forward to it. So folks, don't forget, tomorrow night I'm back with Pro Wrestling Weekly. Mark, you'll like this. We're doing a preview for this Saturday for Saturday night's main event. There you go. You remember that from the good old days.
Saturday night main event, yeah,
they have it back. So there you go. So we'll be taking a look at that and taking a look back at AEW as well and a few other bits and all on that. And then Wednesday, I'm doing the watch along for the Europa League final. And then Thursday, I'll be on for Thursday Tier Talk with Darren. We'll be previewing the final day of the season. Darren will give us an update on this trip. He's going over to the Villa game on Sunday. And we'll also get his thoughts on everything else. There's a couple of matches on tomorrow night as well, and we'll do our final day of the season, beat the bookie as well. So we'll have a few bets as well. So yeah, a bit of fun as always. So don't forget, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video, head over to Hogan Elite Trophy Herd. Make sure you're following them as well, and Legends 11 on Facebook, and of course Airside. Airfield.
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 It's near Airside. Airfield.
Yeah, there you go. So
that's gone.
Links are all down in the description anyway.
There's a few lads in the chat from Dublin. Get down to that game. It's going to be immense. William has been to one of the games of Ballyfermot before, lads. You have to get down. And you've so much interaction with these lads and stuff like that. It's fantastic,
It's phenomenal. Listen, where are you going to be able to meet all those guys for 20 quid?
Yeah.
For 20 quid, exactly. Lads. €20.
And you never know. You might get a pair of shorts out of it as well, because
you never know. It could happen. It's been known to happen in the past.
Exactly.
It could happen. So if you see a Premier League legend walking around with no shorts, blame Mark.
Yeah, Mark's outside the ground selling them.
Yeah, big up, lads. Gonna watch the show back now. Big up, Ryan. Yeah, always.
Cheers, Ryan. Woody, fair play, man.
Yeah, and don't forget, we'll have some great shows coming up as well during the summer. We'll be picking our teams of the season and standouts and all that kind of stuff and all. You definitely will see us on the next one. And Ryan, don't forget to join me on there. Don't forget to join me on Wednesday. That will be fun. Either way for me. I have no card in the game, so but I might pull my Gascoigne jersey down out of the attic. We'll see what happens. Great show, lads. Peace and love, boys. As always, Dano. Love you.
Love you, Dano. Love you, man.
Right, folks. Talk to you again real soon, cuz.
Cheers, cuz.
Cheers, Will. Appreciate it. Oh, I will be there, Noel. We will be there, Roy. We will be there.
Love it.